Testing, testing. Put it up to your ear. I want you to hear. Test.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Welcome to the bullpen. We're gonna check our levels here. I think we're a little bit lower because I'm gonna get loud. I'm gonna call the actual game, so yeah, turn it down. There you go. That's good. 3 2 1. 3 2 1. Good evening, everybody. Mavericks Lacrosse. Check out the link. All the merchandise available online. Friday night, 7 minutes till we get going here. Testing the levels. with that, we welcome you into the bullpen. It's Friday night at the bullpen. Where would you rather be than Junior B Tier 1 Lacrosse, right here in Innisfil, Alberta? The elite Mavericks Lacrosse Club, coming off back-to-back losses last weekend, will try to get back into the win column, facing off against the visiting Calgary Mounties. Here we go, folks. Your Mavericks back in their gray uniforms with yellow and black trim. The Mounties in their classic cream-colored jerseys with their maroon shorts and helmets. This should be a dandy here this evening from the bullpen. One lineup change we want to point out right away for the Mavericks is Remy Panchode back in the lineup, a huge part on the defensive end for these Mavericks Lacrosse Club. Wears the number 6 as he did last season and the season before here as well. He's right on camera at the center of the floor right now as we get ready for first period action. Coming up next. The captain, Justin Rhea, will step in for the draw with Panchode here. They'll bang the sticks. Another good crowd in here. We've had a lot of younger lacrosse players here with a bit of a Innisfil Phantom tournament here. I'd like to thank our director of minor lacrosse, Blake Sutherland, who's a big part of that. I know that Wally Gens, one of the coaches for the Mavericks, and I were enjoying that. It's picked up there by Chase Victoria. He had a big game in their last game here on home floor. This is the second home game for the Mavericks. They are 1-3 on the season. Still several players have yet to return from their commitments down south. And of course, we'd like to wish Luke Hildebrandt congratulations on the wedding, man. A lot of the players still down there for that one. But everybody in the house here ready to go as that one's whistled down and picked up there by the Mavericks as we get things going. An 8:30 start here at the bullpen, and it's Brendan Harnick with the ball across the floor, and he'll toss it off there as the Mavericks try to get things set up offensively. Harnick, the Ponoka native out there right now, goes back behind the net, pinned up against the wall there as they fight for it now down on the far end. That's Kevin Gooder-Zimmer, or as we like to call him, TGZ. Up the left-hand side, here come the Mounties. Across the line, they are 2-0-1. Their coaches and I were talking before the game. That's right, they had a tie. So 2 wins, no losses, and the 1 tie for the Mounties as they try to get things started here on the road on a Friday night. Picked up there, thrown across the wall. That one just whistles by. A shot there by Dane Hansen. Hansen out there wearing the number 23. He'll look to fight for it there in front of the Mavericks bench. Battle for the ball. It goes way up high, right into the Innisfil flag, right beside the Canadian and Alberta flag. Of course, those big championships coming up this year. The Larry Bishop Memorial Tournament will be hosted right here at the bullpen. We'll talk about that lots throughout the season here as Jace Victoria spins off that, dives into the crease, gets the shot off, but that one's blown down, and it's going to be picked up now by the Mounties. We're in the early stages of a scoreless first period here in Innisfil. Back behind the cage, Rhea will just dump that off as Ashton Croddock will come onto the floor. He wears the number 6, just like Panchode. On the back end, that passed off there to Carson Rhea. 2 Rheas in the lineup here for the Mounties. That goes off the stick there, back into the corner. It's controlled here by Calgary. They'll try to work it back in. Get a quick shot off there. That one just goes wide, and it's picked up there by Brendan Harnick. Harnick up the right-hand side. He'll dish it off and then go up the middle of the floor and takes the return feature. Scores! It's 1-0 Mavs. Will they roll tonight? They love playing here on their home floor, and another great crowd here to enjoy it here at the bullpen. There's the num-num hands. They started that last year. Boys down south watching this one will enjoy that. They know all about that, as this was a high-octane offense. I actually heard a couple of the players talking about the number. They'd like to get 12 goals here this evening. Ton of shots in that last game as well, as it's a scramble draw here at the middle of the floor. It is eventually picked up there by one of the younger players out there. How about Luke Cuttadall? Rookie in the lineup here. He's going to be a big piece of the future of the offense here for these Mavericks. Picked up there by one of the veterans of the team. That's Beaumont. Beaumont tries it in there. Ryder Beaumont out there gets tangled up there for a moment. That one whistled down. We'll turn it back up floor here for the Mounties. Here's Lenny Istis. hear him in the shower. Lenny Istis with the pipes. Shoots, scores! Mounties tie it up. Asher Lufeld gets that one there. Number 22 will score, and they'll take that and tie this thing up here at 1. Of course, Lenny Istis in the building for every home game this year on our public address system. He was our intermission guest in the last game. One of the true characters of Central Alberta. No more passionate lacrosse fan than Lenny Istis. As it's picked up there by Harnick. He comes in looking for more. He's got one. That one just kind of pushed off his stick there. Goes up over top of the cage. As it's picked up now, we're kind of high up above the penalty boxes here up in the booth. Kind of a makeshift booth that we've had here for the last few seasons. Great vantage point to call this lacrosse game from. Picked up there by the goal scorer, Lufeld. And it'll be dished off now to Dane Hansen. Hansen goes deep down into the corner. Pushed back again. Mounties looking to try to get up offensively. Kind of wrapping his player up there and getting away with it, but not with the shot. As the Mounties have scored another one. That was Lashmar, who had his arm around the neck of one of the Mounties players. They let that go, but another goal here for the Mounties as they take their first lead of the lacrosse game, leading 2-1. Now will take the face-off. Battles there with Rhea. Rhea will win the draw and pushes it back over to Connor Eels. Eels, where's the number 88? 88-9. That's Storm Sheldon. Sheldon now with the ball. Comes out across the middle of the floor. Now throws it to the corner. Controlled there. Quick shot again. Stop there as it goes back down the other end of the floor. Another good save. Should mention that Greenlee between the pipes here for the Mavericks. Played well last week for them. As it comes back down the middle of the floor, she scores! The Mavs have tied it up! Just before I could tell you the starting goalie for the Mounties is Connor Thane, and that one beats him through the wickets, and the Mavericks have tied it up. I think they will lean heavily, and I think that's the first goal there as they throw the ball to the bench there. I'll have to wait and hear Lenny Istis' call for the official word here. Official talking to Justin Rhea and to Remy Pancho now. As the season progresses here at the bullpen, it tends to get a little bit warm inside. You can feel it is a little bit warmer here at the bullpen. There's some rain in the area, and that sometimes can play a factor here. Now a long toss there, trying to find Cut-It-All up the middle of the floor as the Mavericks try to take the lead back. I'm still not used to seeing number 14 not be Riley Lodemeyer, of course, the longtime captain of these Mavericks. He's one of the players in his 5th year that aged out last season, and ran into him in Calgary this hockey season, and he showcased his new tattoo to me. He and Drake May, Mavs for life, they got put right on their right thigh as it comes back inside the line. Good save there with the left hand by Greenlee. Now it's pushed up the middle of the floor. And I think I'm mistaken here. I think I just got the jerseys mixed up. And it's actually Grayson tapping down there for the Mavs. We'll get it right here, folks. It's early. Beaumont now. I'm sure family and friends are watching. That's not Greenlee. Got mixed up. They've got Swan jersey. It doesn't matter who's in net for the Mavericks. It matters who's scoring the goals. And there's another one for the Mavs. A good quick shot there, and they get that one off, and it's another goal for the Mavericks. They lead 3-2, shots on goal, 6-4 here in the first. A little bit more familiar than we're used to here on home floor. Mavericks had a tough time getting the offense going at home here last weekend. Of course, played 2 games last weekend. The other one, a 16-8 loss at Brentwood Sportsplex against the Calgary Shill. One of the many rivals here in the Central Division of the RMLL. There's another first goal for the Mavs. Gonna have to hang on to a lot of balls here. Good hit up top there. And it was clean too, as Easton Ertmode got the best of that one and then knocked the ball off the stick there. Good D here for the Mavs. Sent sprawling there for a moment. Harnick tries to collect it. They'll allow for the shot clock to expire instead, and then Harnick will pick it up across middle of the floor to the right-hand side. Back over to the left is Jace Victoria back on the floor for the Mavs. He'll toss it off there, and it's brought back inside the zone by the Mavericks. That's Blair Bossomworth, the Olds native, back outside. That one just goes off the back of the boards. Comes back out to the middle of the floor where it's picked up there by Ryder Beaumont. Beaumont now, hard shot on net. If any players, is a broken stick down there. Now Beaumont, another chance at it. He goes sliding past the net. Shaft of that stick got snapped right in half. How about Ryder Beaumont last week? He had 5 or 6 glorious scoring opportunities. I know he felt like he could have buried a lot more of those, and as the season progresses, I expect to hear his name a lot more on the score sheet. Hacken Clayton, another one of the new Mavs out there right now, wearing the number 94. 79 out there as well. We'll try to get you familiarized with all the names here on both rosters here in the early stages of this 2026 season. As it's picked up now by the Mounties, they'll bring it up the floor. That's Madden Bowers. Bowers carries the puck, cradles it back into the corner, spins off a man, controls it still. Time ticking down on the shot clock, 10 remaining. Goes back into the right-hand corner, diving out in front, shoots, scores! Flying across the crease, that's Cass Schruner, hashing it in. Tying this game up at 3 with 12:40 remaining here in the first. Of course, Lennius is also in control of all the music. I know that. If you love ABBA, you'll love Lenny's music. He's got quite the flavor going on down there. Got the specialized iPad as well. As it's pushed back to the middle of the floor now, and we'll have another face-off here in a tie game. We're 3-3 here in the first. Picked up down the right-hand side. That's Brendan Harnick trying to get to it first. He does so, having trouble scooping it off the floor. Talk about loosies and loose balls. I know that was one thing the assistant coach for the Mavericks, Jeremy Klessens, was going to focus on here this evening, is controlling the loose balls. Try to be more responsible with the ball. As it comes back inside the zone, they try to dish it back the other way. That was Everett Crossy. Another Maverick not in the lineup tonight is Jordy Benko. Benko out with an injury. He'll be back soon. Of course, these Mavericks will play again tomorrow as well, and then get a break next week before their next home game, not until May 24th here at the bullpen. Shoveled on net there, picked up now by Tapping. Tapping tries to work it up the floor. They'll find Easton Ertmode. Ertmode dishes it off there, goes off for the change where it's picked up there by Jace Victoria. Victoria back inside the line, elects not to shoot it, goes back to Ryder Beaumont as the Mavericks try to set up the offensive side of the floor. Picked up down to the point. Victoria muscles it in, goes back to Bossomworth, hammers that one wide. Good hard shot there from the middle of the floor. They're waving it off there, and the coaching staff not liking that one from the Mavericks. They're to my broadcast right, the Mounties to my left. Inside the line, picked up there by Calgary, and they'll work it back out as we're tied here 3-3 with 11:20 remaining in the first. Whistle down here. I think there's been a legal substitution here. As it's whistled down. Will that be our first penalty here in the first period? It is. And it goes against the guests. 8-7. The shot's on goal. So the Mavericks will get started here on the TNT Customs power play. Referee gives the ball to Ryder Beaumont. He'll set the offense up on the left-hand side. Controlled there, comes back out to Beaumont, works it over to Victoria. Back into the corner. We'll see if the Mavericks can set up the power play here and get a quick shot. Goes to the backside, back out front. That quick shot just goes wide. Good quick passing play there on the right end of that one was Brendan Harnick, as now it's picked up by the Mounties and then blown down. That was Dane Hansen who picked it up there briefly. And you can hear the referee saying, "You hit him right in the face, 2 feet in front of me. Get in the box." Clear instructions here, and it's going to put the Mavericks on a 5-on-3 power play. Opportunity knocks here in the early stages of this one here. First period action. That's Junior B, Tier 1 Lacrosse. Back outside, picked up there by Victoria. They work it around, do the Mavericks. Trying to look for a clean look here. Victoria elects to pass that one back off to Bostonworth. Over to Victoria, back into the corner. Gets a return feed. Jace Victoria shoots and scores! Number 84 has given the Mavs the lead, 4-3. So Victoria keeping the hot hand that he had last week. Like to thank his dad who donated the cowboy hat for this season. Of course, the player of the game hat for the Mavericks. As now it's picked up on the side wall. Remy Pancho takes that face off. It's won there by the Mounties. Still one penalty up on the board. 1:36 remaining in that one. As Declan Houston tries to work it up the boards, but it's picked up there by the Mavs. They'll get a quick change in here and try to get back to the offensive attack here. With still time remaining here on this penalty. Another goal for the Mavericks. Just trying to let Isti get the call in there. You mentioned that Bostonworth had the assist on the Victoria goal. And there's a big shot there, and I told you you'd get on the board. Ryder Beaumont. The offense clicking here for the Mavericks, and we're only at the midway point of this first period. 10 minutes in, and the Mavs have scored 5. Gooder Zimmer will take the face-off with the Mounties captain, Justin Ray. Rhea will get in there, try to dig it out, try to get the ball back as we're back playing 5-on-5 ball here at the bullpen, well, at least briefly for a moment there. We'll take a media timeout. I'll catch my breath with 9:59 remaining in the first. It's 5-3 Mavs. Bostonworth picks up the second assist there on back-to-back goals. Clayton will get the second assist on the 5th goal. And Ryder Beaumont back on the score sheet here as we have a good close-up there. There's a bull in the building. As I said off the top of the broadcast, where would you rather be on a Friday night than the bullpen here in Innisfil, cheering on this Mavericks Elite Lacrosse Club? Ball bounced up, picked up there by Beaumont, who works it back into the right-hand side as the Mavericks try to add to their 2-goal lead. They'll work it around here, showing a lot more confidence on the offensive end of the floor is Jace Victoria. Victoria muscled off, goes back to the point. Good job on the ball control there to hold that in there by Hack and Clayton. Clayton now will come back on the floor there defensively as the Mounties regain control. Long ball up the middle of the floor as it's corralled there by Calgary. Madden Bowers with control. Comes into the corner. Bowers with a quick shot. Keeps his dish off. Shoots and scores! A good quick pass there, and cashing it in there is Dane Hansen. So we're back to a 1-goal lead here. Pretty loose defensively here so far neither team is going to clamp down on some quick passing plays here on the offensive end of the floor. Brennan Harnick digs in for the draw here. Ball knocked loose there, picked up by the Mavs. Innisfail now comes up the right-hand side, dishing it off there to Luke. You'll hear the boys on the bench yelling, Luke, Luke. Almost like it's Skywalker. Back to the right-hand side, picked up now by the Mavericks, back down the right-hand boards, and now it's picked up and thrown around here by the Mavericks. Bomong again. That one saved there by the goaltender and corralled by the Mounties. 8:52 remaining here in the first. A one-goal game. Mavericks lead 5-4. Push back to the right-hand side. Now here come the Mounties back up the middle of the floor. It's Asher Lukefeld. Lukefeld now pushes it back over the other way. It's corralled there. Cass Schooner as the Mounties have control. Work it back to the other Rhea. They come up the middle of the floor. Try to get a quick change in here and try to get some fresh bodies on the floor. There's one right there. That's Jace Victoria. Victoria holds on to it, dishes it back to Bomong. Going with a steady diet of Victoria and Bomong here the last few shifts have the Mavericks. Shot on net by Bossenworth goes wide. 8 minutes remain here in this first period. Mavericks looking for their 6th goal. Here comes Jace Victoria, cradles the ball, comes back inside, gets a good clean shot off. Controlled there by the Mounties, and they'll have an opportunity with a fresh 30-second shot clock to work it back up the floor here at the bullpen. Down the left-hand side, Bowers with control. Madden Bowers battling for it there with Harnick. Goes back in front, shoots, scores! Torin Zentner has tied it up here at 5. Mounties will get a change in. We'll get back to the lacrosse here in a moment. 7:34 remaining in the first. We're back to where we started. Tied. 5-5 to score. The offense for both teams clicking here. Mounties looking for their 3rd win of the season. The Mavericks, their 2nd. As it's kicked back up off the draw. Good job there by the Mavericks to get control. Luke Cuttadell. Cuttadell now up the right-hand side, showing good speed. Gets it out across mid-floor there. Stretches his arm out there for a moment. Flicks it off there as the Mavericks have control now. We'll work it back up the left-hand side. Looking for a clean look here from the back end. As it's pushed in now. Back to Bossenworth. Bossenworth, hard shot. On net. That clean shot. Goaltender saw it the whole way. Loose ball picked up there by the Mavericks, however, and they'll maintain control here in the offensive end of the floor, trying to keep the pressure on here. Under 7 minutes to play. That one knocked away, and it's going to be picked up here by the Mounties. They try to work it up, pick up the floor. They do so, and it's picked up there by Aiden Jensen. Jensen back to the middle of the floor to Lukefeld. Lukefeld, as Jensen goes off, tries to get control here for the Mounties. They've got it back down into the far corner down there. You'll see all of our sponsors' banners down there. We're going to thank all of them throughout this broadcast here this evening as well. But first, it's the Mounties trying to look for the lead again. They'll cradle it back to the top of the circle there, and then goes back inside. It's picked up there by Harnick. Harnick's got good speed. He comes out, tries to keep it away there. He elects to slam on the brakes and get the change in for the Mavs. He's out of gas. He's going to head over to the bench and get a change in here as we approach the top of the hour here. 6:07 remaining here in the first. We're tied at 5. Push back. Victoria works it back there. He's looking for a return feed right now and gets it. Back outside. Keeps that one off the left pad now. Back into the corner where it's picked up by the Mounties. Gruner now comes up the left-hand side. Wyatt Gruner now comes inside. Shot on net. That one corralled there by Topping. Topping now taps dancing behind the net there for a moment. He's going to corral the ball there. Good long toss up the right-hand side to one of the emotional leaders here. Not only this year, but every year for these Mavericks. And that's Easton Erdmode. Now it's picked up the right-hand side. Mavericks with control. We'll push it back out across as they get back inside the offensive zone. 5:24, 5-5 to score, 16-10 the shot in favor of the Mavs here on their home floor at the bullpen. Good spin
back here. Only 2 seconds remaining on the shot clock. They got to get it off. They do so. Loose in front, and it's picked up there by Andrew Murray. Haven't said his name yet here tonight. One of the returning Mavericks here, wearing the number 67. That one dished off in front of the floor there to Clayton. Clayton now back into the right-hand side, kind of faking it behind the back pass and then working it back to the top of the zone there. The Mavericks trying to get creative on the offensive end of the floor. 3:18 remaining in the first. We are tied here at 5. Back into the corner, that kind of skipped harmlessly off the boards there. Past Remy Pancho, right onto the goaltender tapping. It's picked up now the middle of the floor. Here come the Mavs. Back down inside, it's Everett Crossy. Crossy wearing the number 19, works it back there to Pancho. Pancho now works the near side of the floor with under 3 minutes to play here in the first. Both teams looking for the lead here as Boston works jockeys for position back out in front of the Mounties net. Comes back out to Pancho. He needs to get it off with only 3 seconds remaining on the shot clock, and then it's corralled there by the Mounties. They pick it up now cleanly. It's Aiden Jensen. Jensen back inside the zone. He'll dish it off now. Good clean look there for Madden Bowers as Jensen is sent sprawling. The Mavs bench like that. As now it's controlled here by the Mounties up the middle of the floor. They'll work it down the right-hand side. Controlled now back inside Innisfil territory. Mavericks have that go off the shoulder there. Comes back onto the goaltender who will just control that for a moment. Whistle down, and it's going to be Mounties ball down inside the Mavericks zone. 2:11 remaining here in the first. As it's pushed back, Brennan Harnick tries to position himself defensively there. Good cross crease shot there and knocks the net off there for a moment. Tapping will put that back to where it should be. And now it's picked up inside the zone and flown down again. It's going to be another Mounties ball. Another fresh 30 here for the Calgary Mounties. Call for the break here. We'll take a break here ourselves with 1:55 remaining. I'd like to thank C&B Electric again this season, and of course, Terry Flaws Real Estate as well. Got our house shopping for me. Check out the link for our online merchandise store as well. We've got the full merch booth set up there in the lobby area, which will be a busy place. Haven't tried the bacon cheeseburger at the concession. It's delicious. Shameless plug here at the bullpen. There's the chicken fingers up here right now too. Those look good, boys. Pick back up to the top of the zone here for the Mounties as they try to set things up offensively. They'll kick it back out. Good clean shot. That one goes well wide, but comes off the board, and it's corralled there, but picked off there in the middle of the defensive end there by Andrew Murray. Murray quick up the floor, trying to find Luke Cuttadell. Goes out of the reach of the young Maverick. I'd like to thank his dad, who's on the camera here again for us this evening. The biggest Montreal Canadian fan in the building. Of course, they even their series with the Buffalo Sabres this evening with a 5-1 win. And we'll head back to the Bell Center in the Belle Province for Game 3. That one goes off the arm, well wide now, picked up there by the Mavs briefly, but that's one of those loose balls that Coach Plesson was talking about. Mavericks want to clean that up here as the Mounties try to take the lead heading into the first intermission. Time ticking down here in the first. 45 seconds on the game clock, 15 seconds on the shot clock. It's not going to matter as that one beats tapping, and the Mounties have that lead here in the first period. Their second lead of the first. Shots on goal, much closer than they've been the entire game now as well. That's the 17th recorded shot on net for the Mounties. Mavericks with 18 of their own. Now it's picked up at the middle of the floor and back down the left-hand side. Here come the Mounties looking for got the beer gardens open upstairs here at the bullpen as well. Lots of craft cocktails up there. We'd like to thank all the local producers for that here in Central Alberta. Back out to the right-hand side, and picked up there by Hansen. Now he's trying to work it in there. Here the Mavericks coach, Caden Christensen, on the bench trying to get them to break there, and they aren't able to do so, and the Mounties are going to cash in again with their 7th of the game. So the Mavericks here on the 24th will play against the Rebels. That one at 2:30 here at the bullpen. On the 31st of May, they'll welcome the Crew to town. That's a 2:30 start. June 13th, Calgary Sills will be here. Red Deer Rampage come in on June 19th. Of course, the Calgary Shamrocks will be looking forward to that one. Those two teams, of course, playing last year at the Founders Cup and the Larry Bishop. And splitting those two, of course, the Mavericks winning the Larry Bishop Memorial, but the Shamrocks getting a little bit of revenge in the bronze medal game at the Founders Cup, which they hosted at 17th Arena. The SWAT will be here, and that's going to be Pomona Ag Society Arena. So that was a home game, but not here at the bullpen. And then July 5th, they'll play against the Silvertips. Of course, that's who they'll play tomorrow as well. All of the Rocky View Silvertips, they do play out of Airdrie, however. One of the longtime rivals in the Central Division. Mavericks with control. Now again trailing by a goal. Early stages of the second period. That one worked back and forth down inside the offensive end of the floor. Chase Victoria spinning off a man there for a moment, throws it back to the left point. Work controlled by Ryder Beaumont, goes back into the corner where the Mavericks will try to chase down a loose ball. They can't do so, and here come the Mounties. Fresh 30 across the floor now. Come back out the other way as they try to work it back out to the top. And it's controlled there by Madden Bowers for a moment. Now dished off there by Sheldon. Storm Sheldon back out there. And it's familiar number 9. Back outside the corner. They try to work it back to the point there for a minute. And they try to get things set up here offensively here. They got the O set going here to the Mounties. Trying to cause some havoc there. The Mavericks doing a good job to kill the last 2 seconds of that shot clock. Jeremy Klessman claps on the Mavericks bench. He likes that. Klessman's a great lacrosse player and a very good hockey player as well. Had a chance to watch him a little bit last year. One of the great mentors for these young players. Mavericks getting ready to welcome back Eli Johansson as well. He's down south getting well-needed sun before he comes back to join the Mavericks staff for the rest of the season. Back across the line, here come the Mounties. I'm sure Eli's watching them tonight, as are all those other Mavericks down there in the US of A. Now picked up now, back out the other way. That goes off the tip of the stick, comes back to the middle. Birdboat is bailed out by his goaltender. Now a quick long toss. Can they find the man? It's Harnick. Brendan Harnick now picks up the ball, spins off now for a moment. He's just going to slow things down here for a moment. He's number 15. Great patience there for Brendan Harnick. Seems to be back to 100% here. Suffered a bit of a ankle injury last weekend, but back to 100% here for number 15. Back outside now is picked up there by the Mavs. It's Everett Crosby losing the ball, but then it's picked up there by Remy Pancho, who whips that one high up into the lights there for a moment as the shot clock expires. 7-6 to score. The Mounties with a 1-goal lead. Now picked up inside the zone, coming out across the floor there is Josh Newell. Newell works it back there to Torrance Stettner. Mounties working it around. That goes off the top of the board behind tapping. Doesn't beat the goaltender cleanly, just goes off the bar, and now the goaltender comes out and retrieves it with his goal stick. Another long toss up the left-hand side. That tries to find Luke Cuttadell, who does a good job of patiently waiting for the ball, and then tips it forward. Good ball control there by the rookie as he comes inside the zone. The boys like that one. Now they'll slow it up and get the O set going here. 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Controlled there by James Victoria. Victoria up the right-hand side. Mavericks with control. They try to work it back and forth to Clayton. Clayton has that blown down, however, and it's picked up here by the Mounties. You're watching Mavericks on a Friday night here. Good lacrosse game between two great teams here in Alberta. The Mounties and the Mavericks. Mounties working around outside. Mavs trying to get that championship swagger back here. Of course, last year's Central Division champions as well in the regular season. Now it's pushed out down the right-hand side, back in the front. Harnick had a stick on that for a moment. It's Andrew Murray who comes out with the ball, tries to work it up there to Remy. Pancho now gets muscled off for a moment, then dives forward and pushes it back over there to Harnick, who has his feet knocked out from below. No call there. It is whistled down, actually. My mistake, as we're down to 13 minutes to go here in the second period. Not a lot of whistles here in the second as time has ticked on here. Kevin Zimmer has the ball now. Number 34 works it back into the corner where he finds Chase Victoria. Victoria cradles the ball for a moment, tries to work back out front. Quick shot on net. That one just goes wide. Up off the roof there. See that Harnick was trying to signal that it was off the roof there. As the Mavericks come back in a defensive capacity, back on the floor there is Bryn Bossenworth, one of two Bossenworth in the lineup here this evening for the Mavs. Mavericks back defensively. 47 seconds remaining on the penalty to Beaumont. Mounties work it back outside, looking for a 2-goal lead. We haven't had one of those since it was 5-3 Mavericks in the first period. And then it's Luke Cuttadell knocking the stick out of the hand there and then working it back up the floor, trying to kill the rest of this penalty here. Time ticks on, and that's the shot clock on the Mounties. So the Mavericks able to get a clean look off there. Offensive set, get off to the quick change here with 11:54 remaining here in the second. We haven't even reached the midway point of the lacrosse game. Mounties with control at the top of the zone. You can hear the goaltender signaling to his teammates the penalty is about to expire. 5 seconds remaining as tapping works that one up the left-hand side over there to Easton Ertmode. Ertmode comes across the floor. Number 2 works it up the other side. We're back to 5-on-5. Beaumont back on the floor. Ryder Beaumont not only on the floor, he's got the ball. Number 17 with control, comes back inside, works it back out to Bossenworth. Goes out to the other side there, where it's picked up now by the Mavericks. That's Gilbertson. He fights for it in front. See that number 12, and I still think of Hayden Sutherland. The Marsville student will be back in Canada shortly. I know that his family, Blake and Shelley Sutherland, have sent their son home and down south chasing his academics and lacrosse this season. That one whistles down now. 10:53 remaining here in the second period. The young lacrosse players down there having fun just behind the Mavericks bench. Good spin move there by Chase Victoria. He has more fun when he scores. He loves the offensive side of the floor, does number 84. Here's Beaumont. Beaumont on net. That one's loose. It goes in, but it's immediately waved off by the officials with 10:31 remaining here in the second. They're stretching out behind both benches here. Still early stages here. Trying to get their fitness dialed in here for the lacrosse season. That one skipped across the floor there by the Mounties, who have control inside the Maverick zone. Dean Hansen with control. He cradles it for a moment, then loses the ball, goes back to the middle of the floor. Tapping comes out, but can't get to it. Number 1 gets back off the bar as we approach the bottom of the hour here, 9:30 Mountain Standard here in Innisfail. Push back along the wall. They fight for it along the wall for a moment, blown down. Coach is looking for an explanation there. Not going to get one. The time will continue on here. 8:30 remaining here in the second. Mounties with a one-goal lead. Push it back out to the right-hand side, back to the back door there. That doesn't work. Trying to man up here. You can hear the Mavericks bench yelling that the players to close the gap here, and that one just goes on net. It's picked up there, and that'll be ours. They stay down there, and it certainly is. And now a quick chance up the middle of the floor. Here come the Mavs. That one just goes wide. Up over top of the cage. A dangerous look there by Clayton. He's tangled up now behind the net there. Both players sent sprawling. And now it's picked up by the Mounties. We'll work it back down into the far corner. Now back out to the point. Controlled here by Calgary. Mounties trying to throw that one in. That goes off the pad there. It's picked up briefly there by the Mavericks. Where's the ball now? I'll tell you where it is. It's all the way back down into Mounties territory. Mavericks continuing on here, trying to tie this thing up. They trail here by one here in the second. Now it's picked up inside the corner. Mavericks in their familiar gray uniforms with their yellow and black trim. Mounties in their green jerseys with their maroon helmets and maroon shorts. Comes back off the sidewall. It's corralled there by the Mounties. Picked up there by Wyatt Bars. Bars comes up the right-hand side of the floor, slowly cradling the ball across the line. He throws it off there, and he'll go off for a quick change. As now the Mounties is controlling inside the zone. It's controlled there by Dane Hansen. Try to set up the offensive attack. Back to Hansen. Hansen gets a quick shot off and scores! Mounties take a 2-goal lead here in the second. 8-6 the score. REM blaring over the loudspeakers here. I like the Dixieland Delight myself. Good job there, Lenny. That's now right off the draw. It's picked up there by Brennan Harnick. Harnick comes down the left-hand side, shoulders the man up, shoots and scores! What a beauty! Brennan Harnick! Falls on his backside and throws it past the goaltender and closes this one to a 1-goal game. That's the best goal I've seen so far this season. A beauty from the veteran Brendan Harnick. Mavericks bench starting to get a little more pumped up down there. Livening things up here at the bullpen. 6:41 remaining here in the second. Back to a 1-goal game. And coach can yell big, get back. Unassisted marker for Brendan Harnick. No surprise there as he did it all himself there. A great goal, and now here's a chance for the Mavericks to cut it out on that star! Lucky Luke buries it, and they're tied! Looks like they waved that off, though. That one won't count. Sorry about that. Tough on the Chiron up here. I thought it was a nice goal, not only just because of the sun, too. Mavs indeed try to post up here with 5:54 remaining. Back out the other side. I'll have to save that Lucky Luke call for another time then. I got that from Robitaille. Lucky Luke. Back up the other way. Picked up by the Mavericks. We'll try to tie it again here. Hopefully this one, for their sake, will count if they can get it here. Jason Corey on the outside. Works it back to both map, folks. Back outside, that one broken up by the Mavericks there briefly. Enough to kill the rest of the shot clock for the Mavs and their fans. Up the middle of the floor now, here come the Mavericks. Evan Gooden-Zimmer trying to get position back there. We're working to the top of the zone here for the Mavs. Now back inside. Trying to work it back in. Good O-set here. Good shot. That one just went wide. Tried to shovel that one high and upstairs there, but just misses the net. They do get a quick change off and another clean look. Fresh 30 there, but easily corralled by the Mounties. Mounties down to 4:30 here in the first, hanging on to a 1-goal lead here at the bullpen. You're watching live action here of Tier 1 Junior B Lacrosse from Innisfil, Alberta. Back outside now, the home of the Larry Bishop Memorial Tournament here in 2026. Mavericks try to work it up the middle of the floor. Hurtmo gets it for a moment, loses it, and almost gets it back. But it goes in on the goaltender there, and it's pushed forward here by the Mounties. Bain gets it up the floor now, and here come the Mounties back down, looking for another offensive set. Newell throws it into the corner there. Controlled now, they work it back to the middle of the floor. Good clean look there. They get it again behind the net, trying to battle for it now with a new fresh 30 on the shot clock here. Comes back all the way up to the top of the zone where it's controlled there by Schroeder. Mavericks bench certainly more into it than they were last weekend. They are into this one. And they are in one right now, trailing by 1 here at home. Back out across the line. That one kind of skipped away from the Mavericks player there. That was Bryn Bossenworth. And it's picked up here by the Mounties with time ticking down here in the second. Down to 3:06 remaining. Mounties clinging to a 1-goal lead here at the bullpen. Back inside. They work it back inside. Good shot. That one off the bar. And these fans will be able to hit the bar here in a moment as that'll be open here in the second intermission upstairs here at the bullpen. Try to stay hydrated on your Friday night, folks. Now it comes back out to the top of the zone. Shovel back to the left-hand point as they try to work it back into the Mounties. That one just thrown away. That's not good ball control there. And then it's going to be a timeout called by the Mavericks with 2:41. We'll take a quick break and be back with the rest of the second coming up. controlled there inside the zone here at the bullpen. Mavericks looking for the tying goal here before we head to the third period. Picked up there by the Mounties. Harnick tries to hack that one away there. Ball still in possession of the Calgary Mounties. Mounties back inside the zone. Back up to the top here now as they try to work it back inside. On the outside, it's controlled there by Zettner. Shot on net. That one just goes off the pad there of tapping and wide. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the bullpen. Back in the booth, getting ready for third period action here. Great lacrosse action here on a Friday night. We hope you're enjoying this one. A one-goal game between the Calgary Mounties and the Mavericks Elite Lacrosse Club. Get set for the face-off here. It's been a very tightly contested affair, tied on the shot clock, 29-29. What's going to happen here in the third? We're about to find out. They battle for it there, center of the floor, and it's picked up there by the Mavericks. They'll take first possession as they did in the second period and work it back up the middle of the floor. Back and forth they go. That one brought up now and picked up there by Newell. Newell down the left-hand side here for the Mounties. Josh Newell. Newell now back out the other way. That one comes back into the crease area, but it's scooped up easily there by Andrew Murray. Murray up the right-hand side, and streaking down that right-hand side is Hacken Clayton. Clayton, 90-94, out there right now for the Mavericks with control. Controls onto it now as it's pushed back to the line there. Luke cut it all. Now over to Ryder Beaumont. Beaumont now at the top of the zone. Dishes it off there. One of the big pieces here for the Mavs. Number 17 goes off for a change. And now here come the Mounties back up the other way. Mounties dishing it off there to Madden Bowers. Bowers back inside the zone trying to fight for position. He's watched closely there by Brendan Harnick, and it's whistled down there by the official. I think we're going to have a penalty here to the Mounties. Let me take a peek here. Their door is open. Trying to find the right player to put in the box. They've found him now, and it is Ashton Craddock, who will sit down, and so the Mavericks will head back to a TNT Customs power play. There's a little more country down there. They're keeping it country here in Mavs country, here in Mountain View County. Out there at the middle of the floor there by Ryder Beaumont, who will wait for the official to blow the play in. Just over a minute gone here in the third period. Mavericks trying to tie this game up here at 8. Victoria and Harnick come back to have a quick chat there with Ryder Beaumont. Some good sound effects down there. You never have to yell down to Lenny to see if he's having a good time. You just know he's in the zone down there. Here we go. Are you ready? The Mavericks are. Here's Ryder Beaumont starting out this power play. Brought to you by TNT Customs. Back to the outside. Harnick, Beaumont, Victoria. Victoria, Beaumont, back inside. That one skips away, or Blair Bostonworth will scoop it up in the far corner. Picked up now by the Mavs. They work it back out to the top of the zone there to Victoria. He pulls the trigger, but then he pulls it back. Clean shot there for Beaumont. That one goes off the side of the goaltender, high up into the rafters here at the bullpen. Possession will be maintained, however, for the Mavericks here. Power play continues. 90 seconds remaining on the penalty. Mavs working around on the offensive set. Back out to Beaumont. Over the left-hand side there to Harnick. Brennan Harnick. Back out to Beaumont. Beaumont surveys the situation. Pushes it back out to Victoria. Back to Beaumont. That clean look there handled easily by the Mounties goaltender, and they'll work it up the left-hand side and try to kill some time off here on this penalty. Across the middle of the floor, controlled there by Dane Hansen. Hansen back into the corner. Mounties continue here. Kick back out to the inside there for Lukenfeld. Lukenfeld. Number 22 works it back to 23. That's Hancock. Hancock now back to the middle of the floor. Back out to Lukenfeld. That one goes clean and wide. Cross checks called there by the official. I think it's another penalty to Ryder Beaumont. That will negate the rest of this power play here for the Mavs, and in a 45-second span, that could be a 1 minute and 15-second power play for the Mounties, brought to you by C&B Electric. Mavericks trying to find their swagger here at home. Just like the song says right now, just a bunch of good old boys. Here at the bullpen, on the out-hand side, here's the Mounties. 4-on-4 here in the third period. Hancock works it back out to the other side there, and it's out there by Sheldon. Storm Sheldon comes back outside. Corralled there again, gets the return feed. Sheldon throws that well wide, goes off the boards. Good play off the wall there by Brennan Harnick. He's got speed up the right-hand wing. Back in across the line. Brennan Harnick back out to Jace Victoria. Harnick will run across the floor. Get a quick change in there. He's replaced there by Bossenler. Good spin move. Victoria! That one up over top of the cage. Now Victoria trying to get back defensively here as the Mounties run it clean up the other side of the floor, and now they're on the power play, brought to you by C&B Electric. Mounties clean possession here, get one more body on the floor here. They're 5-on-4. Corralled now at the top of the zone, back to the outside. I thought that was a shot, but it was a really good pass into the corner. It's not going to matter. Shot clock expires and goes all the way back down into Mounties territory. Off the wall, they don't want to touch it there for a moment. As now it's just skipped over there to Luke Cut-It-All. The rookie now with possession. Had a chance to see this young man. He came on the road with the Mavericks out to the Founders Cup 2 years ago when they were in Hamilton. He was on that trip. And now he's a big part of this big club, as the Mavericks staff knew he would be one day. Great experience for him as a young lacrosse player to see a national championship firsthand at Dave Vanderchuk Arena. Now back across the line, skipped up there by the Mounties. Time ticking down on the penalty here to Beaumont. Can they kill the rest of it? Maybe one final opportunity here with the man advantage here for the Mounties as they work it back at the top of the zone. Man's back up on the floor. Beaumont goes straight to the bench, and now it's back to 5-on-5, but clean possession here still for the Mounties. Good save there by Tappan. That one goes wide, and a clean shot clock here now for the Mounties again. Maintaining possession inside the zone. Hancock elects to hang on to that one. Now another quick look. That one goes wide. Off the boards. It's corralled there for a moment by Harnick. Knocked loose. And now here come the Mavericks with speed up the middle of the floor. They've got time now. It's Gage Miros. Another young Maverick out there, of course. Ties to this program, his brother, once a member of the Mavericks as well. Mavericks with possession as we're 5 minutes into this third period. Mounties still maintaining a 1-goal lead. Picked up there by Beaumont, over there to Harnick, who gets a return feed. Harnick back to Beaumont. Hard shot. That one goes well wide off the glass cleanly, and it's picked up there by Harnick. Harnick to Beaumont. Beaumont back out to the right-hand side. Corralled again there. Backdoor play there to Jace Victoria. Right idea on the O-set there for the Mavericks, and then they get a clean look at it again. Beaumont, I think, was looking for the call there as they let a slash go, and now another backdoor play for Jace Victoria. They try it twice. And then player knocked down in front of the net. That should have been a penalty there against the Mounties, as Brendan Harnick was knocked off his feet there for a moment. Good news for the Mavericks is that they maintained possession with 14:20 remaining. Beaumont, that one goes well wide. Corralled there by Harnick. Gets it back to Panchode. Remy, Panchode gets the return feed. Remy with a clean look. That one goes off the wall there, and I think Ren may have tweaked something there. Looks like he's back to 100% now, however. Number 6 out there for his first game of the season here for the Mavs. The big part of this team is Remy Panchode. Backdoor play there from Victoria to Harnick, as the Mavericks not getting a lot of clean looks here, but they're certainly maintaining possession here for the last 60 seconds or so. Back inside, return feed comes back to the outside there to Beaumont, who feeds it back down into Bossenworth. Bossenworth back outside, controlled there. Good hard shot there by Cuttadell. It skips down in front of the goaltender, but it's corralled there in front of Thane. Now back up the middle of the floor. And a big high check there. That could have been a cross check as Easton Ertmode caught that just underneath the cage there. Calling for a quick change here. Caden Christensen. Staff working the bench and a clean look. The Mavs have tied it. It's Blair Bossenworth. A huge goal here for the Mavericks. We're tied at 8. Crazy Eights here on a Friday night. 8-8 the score. Just past the 10 o'clock hour now. Mavericks trying to play hard here in front of their home fans here at the bullpen on a Friday night. As I said off the top, where would you rather be? Mavericks win the draw there. Good clean draw win there by Harnick. Gets off for a quick change there. And Easton Ertmode will work it back out. He goes off for the change. There's the goal scorer. He's just tied it up. Let's hear about it, Lenny. Mavs get the change in there. Mounties with control. Comes down the right-hand side as they have possession now inside the zone. Calgary turns off that one, come back inside. Hancock now has that knocked loose. Goes back into the corner and a big hit there in the corner as well. Mavericks laying the body here at home. Down the right-hand side, here they come again. The Mavericks on net scores! Elijah Lasmar has given the Mavericks the lead back. Some real youthful exuberance down there on the Mavericks bench. They are fired up here at the bullpen. Harnick gets back out there for the draw. 12:15 remaining here in the third. Mavs with 8 shots in a row now lead the shot clock 38-30. Newell has that go all the way down into the corner where it's picked up there by Easton Ertmode. Works it back up the floor to Brendan Harnick. Harnick now, the veteran. Pushes it back there. Jace Victoria back on the floor. Same little fake move there. Luke Cuttadell, I like that one. Does the fake toss and then he hangs onto the ball himself. He's done that a couple times. Here's the call from Lenny Istis. I think they got the goal wrong down there. I'm giving it to Lashmer up here. When you got so much enthusiasm like Lenny, who am I to argue? Blow it in here. Mounties with control with a fresh 30 now. As they now trail by 1. They'll try to tie it up here inside. That one blown down, and it's going to be Mavericks ball. 11:26 as we approach the midway point of this final period here at the bullpen. Back in across the line with speed. Here come the Mavs. Looking to build on their lead here. Beaumont, Ryder Beaumont. Being watched closely there by a Mounties defender. Able to fend it off, gets back it out to the top there to Jace Victoria. Good little fake move there by not only Victoria, then to Beaumont. That one just goes wide. Skipped up over top of the cage. A good look there by Ryder Beaumont. Under 11 minutes to play, or as they say, 11 miles, 20 smiles on the way, but there's only 16 in the lineup here this evening for the Mavericks. So I guess it's 16 smiles they're looking for. Smiling the last little while with 2 straight goals. Now another chance in front of tapping. That one knocked just loose, goes back into the corner. Corralled there by the Mounties. They work it back out to the top of the zone where it's controlled there by Cash Schooner. Rhea now gets it back to the left-hand side now where it's controlled there by the Mounties. That's Craddock. Back inside, tapping with the save, not once, but twice. Good, clean, long ball there for the Mavericks out to mid-floor here at the midway point of this third period. Counting them out down there, that's 4, 5, back on the floor here for the Mavs. Leading here at home by 1, looking for their second win of the season. That one goes across the floor just under the reach of Cuttadell. It's picked up there by Beaumont. Blind look outside the there. It goes bouncing in front of the cage dangerously as we're now under 10 minutes to play here in the third period. Mavericks clinging to a 1-goal lead. Mounties with control. They'll work it up the floor there. It's controlled there by Lukefeld. Back out to the top of the zone. Storm Sheldon. Hancock. Back outside, that whistle's well wide, goes off the wall, and it's picked up again with the Mavs. They come up the floor with speed. All the way back inside the zone, it's Panchoed! That one goes wide. Off the wall, Mavs have to get back defensively. That one skipped by a Mountie. Back into the stick of Ertmode. Here, Ertmode works it back up the floor to Harnick. Those two players, two of the leaders in the dressing room here this season. Of course, the Mavericks using the Innisfil Eagles room here at the bullpen. Back outside, that one works to the top of the zone there. Mavericks with possession, it's Jace Victoria. Back to Beaumont, looking for a clean look. Beaumont tries to find, kind of handcuffs Victoria, who gets the last second shot off there. Shot clock expires, play continues. It's the Mounties. Back up the floor. This will be their first loss of the season if they can't pull this out here in the latter stages of this third period. Back outside now. They've got it back inside the zone. The Mounties work it back the other way. That one goes cross crease up over top of a man. It's corralled now by the Mounties. That's Torin Zentner. Zentner and his Mounties have the clock expire there, and the Mavericks will work it back up the other way. Mavs with possession. Crossy, in fact, with the ball now, works it back to the top of the zone as the Mavericks try to get another offensive zone set up. That one goes well wide. Back in the corner, but it's controlled there by the Mavericks. They'll get back defensively. You can hear them calling for the D to come back there. They come back. See a few of the healthy scratches for the Mavericks, bring some new sticks to the bench here as like they'll need a new weapon of choice there here with 7:56 remaining in the third period. Mavericks clinging to a 1-goal lead here. 41-33 are the shots on goal. We'll take a quick timeout here and be back at the conclusion of this one. Coming up next. Again, the staff trying to get every bit of juice out of this young lineup here tonight for the Mavericks. As they're back to the floor and back to play here. Mounties with possession inside Mavericks territory. Down in the far end. They bring it out to the top of the zone here, looking for a clean look. That one goes well wide. Spinning off that one is Grayson Tapping. He's been good between the pipes here for the Mavericks this season. Especially tonight. He's been the lone goaltender in net here. These two goalies go head-to-head here. Back inside the zone. Mavericks now with possession. Victoria works it into the corner. Comes back out front. They look for a loose ball there, trying to work it back out front. Is Beaumont. It's knocked down there for a moment with 7:07 remaining here in the third. Here come the Mounties. Across the line, that one's going to be blown down there. I think a slash we called here. You don't think I'm calling the game here? You think I'd know? Going to be Mounties ball here at center. We're going to work it back in here with the fresh 30 here. Trying to tie this thing up. We're under 7 minutes to play here in the third. They work it around the top of the zone. Hansen and Bowers. Now back to the corner, back out to Hansen. Hansen back behind the net to Bowers. Tries to knife it back behind the cage. Couldn't get the shot off in front, but the Mounties do regain control. Time ticking down on the shot clock. Tapping makes the save. And the Mavericks will work it up the right-hand side of the floor. Ertmode will elect to try to get mid-floor. Doesn't get it and then just throws it away. That one goes off the stick there. I'm sure he'd want to have that one back. As now it's picked up there by Madden Bowers. The last game in town here in Innisfil. The Mavericks and Mounties battling it out here. Regular season action. And the RMLL Tier 1 Junior B Division. Packed up down the left-hand wing. Here come the Mavericks with speed. Back in front, they try to muscle it out in front of the net there. Under 6 minutes to play. That one blown down there by the officials. Both benches fairly animated here this evening, but probably more so the Mavericks trying to get every bit of juice out of this young lineup here tonight. Picked up by the Mavs on the outside. They'll work across floor there. So much fun watching the young Innisfil Phantoms play before this one. It's amazing the skill, and I'm sure a lot of those young players are idolizing these Mavericks again this season here at the bullpen. That one knocked loose there for a moment. It's going to get the Mavericks a fresh shot clock there. They're happier to get the change right now as they had some tired bodies out there. And now it's worked up the middle of the floor to Torin Zentner. Zentner works it back to Madden Bowers. Bowers over to Hansen. Hansen gets the return feed. Back out to Bowers. 91. Back to the top of the zone. That whistle's just well wide. It's corralled for a moment, but it's still loose in front of the net here. Mavericks can't pick it up. They do eventually get the ball for a moment, but it's knocked loose again. Andrew Murray watches his man. That's Storm Sheldon. Mounties, good job with the Lucy there. And they get possession back here in the late stages of the third period. We're in for a finish here at the bullpen. Back on the outside, it's corralled there and then blown down. Mavericks are going to get possession and a quick up here to Brendan Harnick. Harnick shot on net. That one just goes wide. 4:30 remain. Time starting to become a factor here in the third period. Picked up there by the Mounties. It's Grayson Adams. Works it back to the top of the floor, controlled there by Wyatt Bars. Bars works it to the right-hand side. Inside out, now back to the top of the zone. Mounties, clean shot. It's loose up top. Where is it? I'll tell you where it is. It's in Tapping's goal stick. Gonna do a quick push-up there in front of the net through the Mavericks. Back on their feet, and here comes the winning 50-50 ticket. Take it away, Lenny. So with 4 minutes exactly remaining here in the third period, the Mounties will try to mount a comeback. They trail by 1. They led by 1 heading into this third period. teams have exchanged leads 4 times in this game. Back outside, the top of the zone, tapping very confident between the pipes here tonight for these Mavericks. He took the angle out there as he was right at the top of the crease. Good long ball up the right-hand side. And patiently carrying that up the floor. And now speeding it up here is Harnick. Shoots that on net. It's saved there. They don't like that there's no call there. They're trying to understand what's going on down there. Jace Victoria had his hands up in the air for a moment before he went off for a change. Fresh Mavs on the floor. They're going to need everything on deck here as Owen Strauss back out there for the Mavericks. Back defensively now. Inside the zone, Cuttadell watches his man. Comes back to the top of the zone. Hancock now, quick look here for the Mounties. Player was buried there in the middle, and he's down with an injury. They're starting to call for a headshot there from the Mounties bench. Hardly blame him here. With 2:58 remaining here in the third, there is no call. Goaltender tries to come out and intimidate the forward there, and now here come the Mavericks up the middle of the floor. It's the young Maverick, Luke Cuttadell, out there in a key situation. 2:47 remaining here in the third. 12 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Trying to be patient here as Crossy, now they work it back to the outside there. That was actually Clayton, I'm sorry. Clayton back inside. Victoria now just throws it away back into the corner there. I think the Mavericks just trying to kill some time there. Will that haunt them, however? We mentioned off the top of the broadcast that this Mounties team does have a tie this season. Their record at 2-0-1. Mavericks at 1-3. Back and forth. That one skips off the top of the stick there for the Mounties, but they regain control. Trying to get a clean look here is Hancock. That one goes wide as it's knocked away there by a Mav stick, but regained control there by the Mounties. That one goes off the dasher, back out the other way. That's going to go all the way back down into Mounties territory as the shot clock expires with 1:52 remaining. Wow! What do we have next here, folks? Friday night in the bullpen has not disappointed here. Here's Ryder Beaumont. Beaumont now up the left-hand side. Mavericks controlling it now inside the zone. It's Luke Cuttadell. Good spin move there by Gilderson. Comes back out to Blair Bossenworth. He's got one. Looking for more is number 44. He battled for it in front of the net there. Trying to call the man off there. $1:20 remaining here in the third. Here come the Mounties trying to tie it up. That one goes off the top of the shoulder there of tapping and corralled there by Remy Panchot, who gets hit in the side of the head there, but no call. They're calling for it from the bench, let me tell you. They also have those 44 shots, not only in the back of Boston with jerseys, but on the shot clock. Mavericks out shooting the Mounties, 44-38. They'll hang on to control here with 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. It is Blair Bossenworth. Back into the corner, Victoria will come off quickly. Outside shot, that one right onto the goaltender Thane. He's going to hang on to that with 40.2 remaining and a fresh 30 coming up. There'll be a timeout for the Mounties. More coming up next. All right, here we go. Third period, 40.2 seconds remaining. The goaltender is out. And here come the Mounties. Up the middle of the floor. Mavericks trying to hold on here at home. Back outside, Mounties taking some time. It's Hancock looking for a look. That one goes well wide, picked up there by Murray, and skipped forward onto the empty net. That one goes wide off the boards. It's corralled there, and then a back shot off the wall and goes up and out of play. 16.7 seconds remain. Here come the Mounties. One last gasp, one last dash. Up the middle of the floor, they work it to the outside to Hancock. He's had several looks from back there. That one knocked just wide, goes into the corner. Murray swats at it. 4 seconds to go, picked up, and the Mavericks will win it! The empty net shot goes wide, it doesn't matter. The Mavericks come back in the third period. Their second win of the season. They'll take this one 9-8 here at the bullpen. Mavs outshoot the Mounties 45-38 in the lacrosse game. It was a beauty. The Mavs will have another one tomorrow against the Silvertips. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.